Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, for our Patreon cast of the week, it's going to be Bisu versus Fantasy here on Neo Sylphid. RJB found a few fantasy replays, and Fantasy is an excellent and a legendary Terran player, so we'll see how he holds up here against Bisu on Neo Sylphid. Bottom left, we got Fantasy. Bottom right, we've got Bisu. And again, RJB finds so many excellent replays for me and for you. So check him out at youtube.com/@RJB_TV. Subscribe to him, especially if you like Fastest Map. His passion for StarCraft and his knowledge of the game and his connections to players are unmatched. So let's see how this PvT will show out, shall we? So again, this is going to be a Patreon cast. So if you're watching this the week of July, let's say July the 20th or so, 2023. Thank you so much for supporting me at patreon.com/FalconPaladin. I really do appreciate it. I feel the love every time I go to that site and see who else joined up. And if you're watching this after that week, like say August 2023 or later, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I am here 6 times a week, sometimes more, with StarCraft Brood War content of the remastered variety. So, a very standard opening here from both of these players. We got a gas. Yep, gas started at the same time for both of these players. We've got Gateway, we have Barracks. Everything is A-OK here in Neo Sylphid land. Ah, what a good place to be. Neo Sylphid land. All right, well, Steve the SCV moving out. Check out merch for Steve at falconpaladin.store. We also have Robert the Zealot merch available. Won't see any Zealots for a minute here, but we will eventually. Hats, mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of great merch out there. Check it out. We'll ship anywhere on Earth. And everything's A-OK. Factory, neat. Guess what? Cybercore, also neat. Neither player going for a crazy early expand here, where like a command center first or a nexus first is technically possible, but just risky and dangerous. We see Protoss do it sometimes. We really don't see Terran try to pull it off all that much, do we? More of a Protoss thing. Anyway, Pro moving out. Gonna boop this SCV right on the nose. Ready? Boop! That's an Eskimo greeting there for sure. Did I get rid of the... Wow, production tab was gone. Come back, production tab! Singularity charge. Neat. Factory coming in. What's the first thing coming out of the factory? Well, a machine shop, unless it's a vulture. Which could be vulture, but I don't know. What is a vulture going to do when the dragoon's already out, right? So we're going to make a vulture anyway. Vulture and these marines can work together to defend against incoming dragoon pressure. Wow, the second phase gets started here for Steve. Well, that's not Steve. Steve died. Steve died over here to probe attacks and dragoon attacks and whatnot. Very sad life for him, but he fulfilled his purpose, so he's okay. All right, what's next? Machine shop, cool. Do we think it's spider mines? Pachow, pachow, probe down. Take that. So now we know there's a vulture out. Good scouting information to have. Second base, warping in from Bisu here. Fantasy is largely known as the Vulture Terrorist. His Vulture control is some of the best anyone has ever seen in the world of StarCraft. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work out for us here. What kind of Vulture micro we've got. We have seen some games from some pretty excellent Terran players who can use Vultures in ways that not many Terran players can, much to the chagrin of their enemy Protoss. Too many workers die, right? They're burning down cannons. You know what I mean? Just the Vultures are just doing things that Vultures are not supposed to do. So, Spider Mines is the first upgrade here. You're kind of torn between going for speed and going for Spider Mines, because speedy Vultures are good, but not as good as speed Vultures with Spider Mines, and Spider Mines are good, but not as good as speed Vultures with Spider Mines. So you got to choose which one you go for first, and if you're trying to deal with some early aggression here, running up on these Dragoons and throwing some Spider Mines down will certainly deter them from firing on your bunker much longer, but Spider Mines is not done yet. Bummerama. What do we got? Gateway. Of course it's another gateway. Robotics facility with an observatory coming in, because, again, the threat of Spider Mines is real, starting about now. So here we go. Vultures, you ready to Spider Mine this stuff? You kind of have to, because I guess there's a tank coming. So tank working together, maybe, with the Spider Mine laying down. Siege Tank says, I will get big hits off on your bodies here, Dragoons. Get off of my... Get off of my... They're not getting off of his lawn. They're not doing it. Okay, now they are. They're off the lawn. They're not firing on the bunker anymore. Observer in production. He hasn't seen any Spider Mines yet. I wonder if Fantasy is kind of hiding that he has them? Wait, did he make a dropship? Hang on. No. My brain for a second there was like, did I see a dropship? Oh, that did! Wow, I precursored it. My brain knew a dropship was coming because I think I saw it in the production tab. But Robotics Bay coming in. Yeah, here we go. Vulture's going to drop right on this natural base. 2 Dragoons are not going to be able to stop the massacre. Getting into the main base would actually be a lot tougher to deal with, too, because there's no Dragoons inside the main base. We're only covering the front, but guess who can fly? That's right, in the pipe 5x5 can. Yeehaw! Shuttle's on the way, Reaver's on the way, so we're going to give as good as we get here in just a minute. But for now, Bisu, ow. Going to lose a probe there, and then we're going to unload the Vultures here inside the main base, and zoom. Spider Mine this little choke so the Dragoons... Oh, they don't want to chase. Bisu! Oh, he did it, though. He did the trick. He did... Ow. Not there, though. Probes are forced to fight for their lives. Never a good feeling at all. Probe does. Falling down here. 31 remaining, 34 SCVs on the map here. Excellent, excellent attack there by those Vultures. Third base coming up right side from Bisu. So yeah, this is what I love about games like this, because Fantasy is good enough to deal with anything that Bisu throws at him, and good enough to throw really terrible things Bisu's way too, so that makes for the best PvTs. We're not just going to sit here and get up to 3 bases and a million siege tanks and not do anything interesting until then. No! We did Vulture drops, man. That's a great opening. And Bisu's like, I'm not just going to hang out and like try to poke the front constantly. No. I'm going to go Reaver drops. This is a great map for Reaver drops. I feel like of all the games that I've seen Reaver drops in PvT, this is the one that has the most. There's just a ton of dead airspace you kind of have to cover. And a ton of dead space inside your main, too, that you have to cover. Super frustrating if you're a Terran. I mean, Protoss, too, right? We saw the Vultures get some work done as well. Anyway, shuttle speed on the way. Ooh, oh, nice. A Wraith out to try to deal with shuttles and observers, too. And jumping right on that siege tank. Reaver as well in the house. And out. Big hit on those SCVs. Bunker gone. Marines. I don't know what this guy's trying to do. Okay. Can't. Nope. Doesn't save the shuttle. So now the Reaver's going to die. Ooh, but the Reaver's got some good work done here, man. Whew, decent hits there for sure. Worker count 39 now for Fantasy. Vultures drop it into the third base of Bisu. See ya later, alligator. And 3 tanks wipe out the Reaver. They take a hit, but it takes more than 1 hit from a Reaver to kill a siege tank, eh? Eh. Definitely eh. So third base is a ghost town for Bisu. That is not great. Spider-Mine's getting laid and then just dropping back into the main base. La, 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 la. Oh, there is a Reaver here to defend, though, so good luck. Ow. Dodge, pick up, go, run. Can we get into the third? No, there's Dragoons waiting for us. I think just this angle will work. Or whatever. You're just going to die before you flee. That's fine as well. Probes coming back into the third base. 42 to 43 workers. Players have taken some serious hits. This is an early push from Fantasy. This play is interesting. Alright, siege tanks up, Vultures up, Spider Mines up, Reaver's here, man. Ow, tank down. This is going pretty well for Bisu, I gotta say. All these tanks are dead. Just how many Dragoons are we going to take with them? Wraith gets target fired, so the shuttle survives with all of 8 HP. And Bisu wipes that little push out pretty easily. I guess there's a reason we don't see that very much in TVP, huh? Little pushes out are not as successful as big pushes out if you're a Terran player. Without a doubt. Alright, where's your third base, Fantasy? It's time. See, Bisu's checking for it too. Bisu's like, where's your third base? Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Vulture's trying to get something done, but not really finding many angles for attack here. Many good places to throw down spider mines at all. This feels like our third, yeah? Yeah, third base, minerals only. We need mineral dumps anyway for the vultures. It's fine. Is fine. Ba-boom. No upgrades on the mech yet. Gateway units also have no upgrades, but everyone's working on +1 attack, so that's good. Feeling confident that way. So yeah, the Vulture Terrorist has been pretty active with his Vultures so far. Like to see it. Fourth base coming up from Bisu, taking his minerals only base near the natural. Just doing the same thing that Fantasy is doing. Bisu just trying to put some pressure up here on Fantasy. Just trying to make sure he's worried about Dragoons jumping on top of, you know, siege tanks that aren't adequately covered. Stuff like that you might be worried about, yeah? Yeah, Zealot leg enhancements on the way. Reaver dropping. Oh, that third base. No, it does get paused at, my goodness, I had like 20 more HP to go. And it is paused. Look at these Reavers being like, really? You're going to fight me? Vultures? Get out of here. Then the siege tanks show up and the Reavers die, but you know. It's all good. Dragoons try to push in because they're like, you have one siege tank over here? But they don't have, they do have knobs with them. Why not go in there? I guess too close to reinforcements, but I feel like he could have jumped in and killed this tank. Maybe couldn't have taken down the command center, but man, that could have been a game-winning play there for sure. I probably would have extended in there. Probably would have lost all my Dragoons too, but you know. It's all good. +1 air weapons on the way. This feels like a carrier transition out of Bisu at 12 minutes. It is time. Maybe not. Templar Archive. No, there's your fleet beacon. Okay. It's like a Templar Archives. So Arbiters and Carriers, or maybe just Carriers and High Templar. And Arbiters, whatever. The options are available here. Bisu is going to go ahead and just casually take a 5th base down here in the bottom leftish. Fantasy being on 3 bases. He's pretty happy to be on 3 bases. Terrans generally are. But is it going to be enough here, right? Bisu knows he needs to out-expand. Oh. Well, he was going to expand down here, and then some vultures showed up and shut it down. Hey, it's Fantasy, though. What else do we expect? Zealot bombing some of these siege tanks. A precursor for the Dragoons running in here as well. Zealot trying to finish off. Yes, friendly fire splash. No, don't go after the missile turret. Kill the tank. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible control by that guy. That one Zealot, but does it really matter? No, not really. Carrier production begins on the back of all of this. Spider mines. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. Barracks going down totally sucks. You got to rebuild that if you want to make more factories. But he keeps it alive for now. Fantasy does. So, Caron Boost is on the way. Nothing too crazy about that, though. Oh, there's a scan. Oh, we just got to know. Okay, so he does scan in here, sees the fleet beacon, sees the double Stargate, and says, ah, that's carriers. So I think the next round of factory production here is going to start being Goliaths. Be my guess. He definitely still wants some tanks, because this feels like a hybrid variation of carriers, which is what it usually is in these more recent games, especially from a player as good as Bisu is. Bisu's not just going to make carriers against Terran. He's going to have Dragoons and Zealots and High Templar to augment the carriers and make it so that the Goliaths have something else to worry about than just attacking the bodies of the carriers, right? You can't chase the carriers down very well if there are 27 Dragoons set up and preventing you from chasing them down. 4th base is landed just outside of the main here from Fantasy. I like that. About the same time that this 5th is coming up from Bisu, but I don't know if he could defend this 5th. look at this positioning. Nicely done. Getting right in here, sowing up spider mines. And then maybe sending a couple tanks down here to shut it down because the 2 cannons are too much for vultures. But maybe he has a couple tanks available. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to send this guy. Maybe. A little zealot bomb. And again, the vultures are ready, though. There you go. Wiping those zealots out before they can take down even a single siege tank with their mere presence. And setting up in range of a cannon. Not great, but cannon gets obliterated instantaneously, so you don't have to actually worry about losing your tank in that situation most times. Yeah, so no 5th base for Bisu. Fantasy. If he can kill Bisu before this carrier stuff really gets going, that'd be best, I feel like. The longer this game turns into a thing where there are carriers and they're protected by a ground army and storm and killing them is really hard, and it's Bisu. So his carrier micro is insane. I don't even know where that science vessel was going. Maybe on a scouting mission. Who knows? But I think if Fantasy, yeah, if he can get down there, which Bisu knows, Bisu's like, no, I don't want you coming down here yet. I don't have the carriers I need to finish my composition. Also, killing tanks is generally a good thing, so let's kill a bunch of tanks. That was actually really nice for Bisu. Wow, that was really nice for Bisu. This one tank is like, oh yeah? Come on over here. And the tank's like, wait, hold on, I'm alone. Back it up. Back it up, boys. Okay, so 4 basin. And, oh, there is a 5th base here now for Bisu, though. Okay, so he replaced the 5th base that he lost and is trying to take his 5th base back. So I don't know what we're going to call that one exactly, but Bisu is doing the carrier transition. On some level, anyway. So, Fantasy, 5 Goliaths at a time, 2 tanks at a time, working on the further upgrades. Got +2 for his mech. The gateway units are at +1 with a plus... no +2s on the way. We're just getting air weapons. It's cool. The gateway units don't need upgrades. The carriers are where it's at. Alright. So, carriers attacking their own pylon to get all their interceptors synced up on launch. And we're going to start pushing over here. 188 to 133 supply. Uh-oh. This is a big, massive advantage for our guy, Bisu. Bisu fans are pretty happy about the position he's finding himself in right here, isn't he? And yeah, I don't know if there was even a window for Fantasy to get over there and shut this down before it got started. So now he's just got to deal with it. Bisu. Oh, man, the Zealots are so hard to deal with. Vultures are much better at it than Goliaths are. Goliaths are good. I'm not saying Goliaths are terrible. There you go. Vultures in it. And the Vultures don't get distracted by the carriers either. So, I don't know. Maybe you gotta have some Vultures, I would say. So, more Spider Mines getting laid up here. This is just dicey. 152 to 121 supply in favor of the Protoss. The carriers are just abusing the fact that they can fly, coming right on into the main base of Fantasy. There's only 4 of them, so they're not exactly lighting the world on fire here. But, you know, it's bad anyway. And let's see, I mean, what's Fantasy's response going to be? Well, he's expanding up here. He's bringing Goliaths down to try to fire upon these carriers, but watch them disappear into the darkness. Are you ready? Into the darkness! Ah ha ha ha! Now all you can attack is interceptors. That's not what you want to do against Bisu's carriers at all, but you have to. Because you can't reach him over here. If you could scan, I guess. And, like, sit on the... it's tough. It's really, really tough is what it is. So, 194 to 143 supply. Our guy, Fantasy, only has 168 available supply because these supply depots have died. And he wasn't exactly killing it on available supply before that. So, it's a 200 supply Bisu looking real good. And Bisu actually taking the fight to Fantasy here. Good, there it is, that storm. Yeah, this is bad. This is like a Terran's nightmare. Bisu showing up with Dragoons, with Carriers, with Thigh Templar. Kicking butt, taking names. And that's it. I think that's a GG, man. 180 to 117 supply. This base is dying. SCV's trying to flee. A little bit late for that, boys. A little bit late for that, I would say. Yep. So that base is dead. Bisu's taken this as a 6th, and this is a 5th. And sure, there's spider mines everywhere, but not where it matters. Not where he'd like to deter this army from going, right? So command center down. Carriers have +2 attack. Yeah, +2 attack. Getting a shield upgrade here. And Fantasy is not willing to concede. He's got a bunch of Goliaths kind of stuck in this area. Can't get out because there's a missile turret blocking him in. And they're too fat to fit between this gap, it would seem. But also, the carriers could just swing over. If all these guys are gone, then the carriers swing over here, and they're just unopposed. Yeah. It's a 100 supply advantage for Bisu. GG! An absolutely perfectly executed PVT there from Bisu. Amazing. Like, what a fantastic display of how to defeat Terran there by Bisu. Well done. Ugh. Incredible stuff. Just an absolute GG there from Bisu. He didn't even lose all that much. He never really got his army squished today. He killed that first push out from Fantasy. He killed this army once and then twice, and I think 3 times, and then kept going and won. There was really no pressure put over here or anybody that got close to the natural base. The vulture attacks were maybe the more successful of the attempts here by Fantasy, and they just did not get enough done. They got stuff done. They really did. But at the end of the day, Bisu shows up with a 6-carrier army. Okay, it's 7. A 7-carrier army. A bunch of Dragoons, a bunch of Zealots, a bunch of Storm. It's just tough to defeat. We've seen this win more often than not in the PVTs on the channel. So 164,000 points from Bisu, 123 from Fantasy. Did outproduce the Protoss, but got outkilled by a substantial margin. Structures raised at 7-4. And did get outspent by Bisu by about 9,000 resources. Rough. Really rough stuff there. So, GG. Truly great. Great display of PVT. I don't know how many more times I can say that, but that's Bisu for you. So, Bisu gets the win for this, our Patreon cast, and that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.